Hey everybody, welcome. Thank you so much for tuning in. I am Theresa with Keep in Touch Crafts. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in Oak Grove, Minnesota. Nice to see you here. I appreciate you tuning in. Tonight we're going to be working with some of the gilded leafing that we have in our new mini catalog, and it's super messy and fun and gorgeous and just something kind of different. It's more of a technique-based class that we're going to be having here, so I hope you enjoy it. I've been kind of playing with some of this new product here for a couple of weeks now, and trying to find the best ways to use it and how it works best for me, and I can show you some of those ideas as well, and hopefully you'll find some ideas too. It's very affordable and fun and different and really glitzy and cool. So I'll be showing you that in a moment. Again, thank you so much for tuning in. We are going to be, we're still going through Celebration, and that is a kickoff for our new mini catalog. And Celebration is just when you place an order, if it's a certain amount, then you get some choices of free products. So if you make a place a $50 order, then you will be able to get certain things free in our little Celebration catalog. It gives you those choices. And then there's also some $100 level gifts or freebies that you can choose as well. So you can mix and match. If you have a $100 order, you could get two $50 freebies or one of the $100 freebies, that kind of thing. So if you have any questions or are interested, feel free to visit my store. We have a lot of great stuff there, and the celebration only goes on now through the end of February, so we'll want to get everything going through that time. It's just the best time of the year really for Stampin' Up! Because we have a lot going on. We have new products and a lot of fun activities going on, and we also find that it's a time that more people like to join Stampin' Up! Because of the good deals and the fun, and you get to be a discount shopper basically. So if you are interested in that, you can join my team, and we can have a lot of fun together and learn a lot and craft and create and get a chance to kind of have some therapy in that way. It's just kind of a fun hobby, and I've really come to enjoy it and appreciate that. So let me know if you have any questions or if there's any products you would like to see me demonstrate. I'm happy to do so. I try to go on every Thursday at 8 o'clock, so I'm working on keeping that consistent, and I am branching out as well now too, because I'm going to be doing some classes and stamp camps and kits to go, stuff like that is in the works. So stay tuned for that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put the camera down now on my work surface here, and I'm going to show you what I'm talking about when I'm talking about this gilded leafing stuff. It's so fun. Hope you enjoy it. All right. Okay. Hopefully you can see everything all right here. I don't know if we need any more light. That might help a little bit. We'll see. All right. Here's that catalog I was telling you about, and right on the front of this new catalog right here is the stuff that we're going to play with today. This is the mini catalog with this gilded leafing, okay? This is how it comes, and it's nice and messy, and I'm going to show you what we can do with that. If you're interested, you can look on page 32 and 33 of our new catalog. If you need one, let me know. I can send one out to you if you haven't gotten one. A lot of my customers from the past I have sent them out to, but if you need one, let me know. So there's a beautiful set here called Fine Art Floral in this new catalog, and I am going to be using some of the stamps and some of the paper that goes along with it. It is one of my favorites in this mini catalog. It's so beautiful, and anything floral I usually end up liking, but this is kind of a combination of kind of an artsy type of a look combined with a floral. And so this is a suite, and so that means there's a whole bunch of products that all coordinate together. You don't have to get the whole suite. You can get certain items from the suite, or you can just order the actual suite, which gives you everything that comes in this suite. And they just give you one number, 155982, and then that just orders everything in this suite. So it's really fun. I'm going to show you some of it. I did get the suite, and it shows on this next page. Here's what the stamp set looks like, and it does come with dies as well. So it's very complete. I mean, this has a lot of nice sentiments in it. So everything from I'm thinking to you, congratulations, happy birthday, you are lovely, best wishes, good luck, I miss you, sorry, and thank you. So this suite really would be a good set to get started on, even if you don't have a lot of stamps. It really covers a lot. So it's not just going to be for one or two things. It can be used for weddings and birthdays and sympathy and Valentine's Day and lots of other fun things. So I'm going to show you some of the bits and pieces of it that come with it, okay? So I just had the paper. All right. So the paper in this set, and as those of you who know and are familiar with Stampin' Up, you know that we call our paper that is printed paper like this DSP. It's designer series paper because it's like a designer. It's not just plain cardstock. It has a pattern on it, and it's almost always two-sided. And this comes in 12 by 12 sheets, so it's a lot of paper in this set. So one side is more subtle, as you can see, and it has the different colors. It's subtle but yet bright. You know, like that's very bright, but really pretty. And it kind of has hints of pink and kind of that orange as well, and some more of the bluish greenish tones and pinks. So there's a big variety of colors in this set. And in the catalog that I was just showing you, that's the nice thing about the catalog, is it does show you on this page here, it shows you Petal Pink, Flirty Flamingo, Poppy Parade, Bumblebee, and Pool Party. So those are some of the colors that coordinates with this whole set. So you know that if you have some of those pieces, that's going to be coordinating with the ink and the, let's see, what else would we have? Cardstock, for base cardstock, those kinds of things. They're all going to match, and which is one of the nice things about Stampin' Up, is everything it matches and works well together. So that's that subtle side, and then here is the artistic, more patterned side. And what Stampin' Up did is these are actual photos of real paintings or artwork that people have made. This is actual photos of it, so that is really fun. You can really see the detail in there. And so there are a few different patterns to choose from, and again, this is just a small piece of them because they are in 12 by 12 sheets, and I just have them cut down into smaller sizes because I'm using it up so much. I love the blue, of course, and so they're just really a lot of floral, kind of pinky, those types of colors. Okay, so that is what comes in the designer series paper part of it. But then there's also that comes with it with some acetate sheets. There's 3 different patterns, and they have gold on one side, and then they're more of a silver on the other side. So you could use that either side, but I know the gold, of course, goes with this paper the best, and this set the best, so that's what I'll be using mainly. But if you have other projects that have more of a silver, you can use this side as well. So some of these are the floral that matches the actual paper, and there are some places, or not some places, but some of the pieces have, they match up. So if you can match up the gold with the paper and lay it over it, and then it goes together. I'm not going to be doing that again today myself, but that is one option with this set, and it just looks so beautiful together. You can use the acetate by itself. If you would have, some cardstock behind that, that is pretty even in itself. And again, it does coordinate along with the paper too. One thing to note, if you are going to be using the acetate, there is a real fine film on the back to keep it from scratching while it's being shipped and stored and that kind of thing. So you're going to be able to peel off. You can see it's already starting. Maybe you can see. You're just going to peel that little piece of film off when you put it on your project. Okay, so that's how that'll work. I'm going to leave it on there for now. But just so you know, that's something you're going to want to pull off. Okay, what do they call it? Gilded leafing. Okay, the trick to gilded leafing is adhesive. You need something sticky, and it will stick to it. It is, like I said, super messy, but beautiful. So what it comes with is some powder. This is similar to our embossing powder, and it's called heat and stick powder. And what you do is take some type of, well, we use Versamark ink. So this is something that we use for like embossing, watermarking, that kind of thing. It's a clear, sticky, dirty. This is a dirty pad of mine, but it's been well used. Anyways, it's just clear and sticky. So you can stamp with that, and then you can put the heat and stick powder on it, melt it, and then your gilded leafing sticks to it. That's one way to do it. Okay, but I'm going to show you that, and we'll do that in a bit, but there are other ways to use it as well. And one way, or one thing to keep in mind is adhesive that is sticky. So if you have an adhesive and it is something, let's say you use a wet adhesive. For example, I think I know some people who were using, or they tried our, what's it called, fine tip glue pen. This is a really nice glue, and it has a lot of great uses, especially if you wanted just a real fine amount of glue put down on something. But when this dries, it's not sticky. So then it's not going to work for this. However, our adhesive, this Tombow liquid glue that we use so much, this does dry sticky, and so this can get used with this. And there are other applications and other adhesives too that work very well with it. So I'm going to show you some of those. I have been doing a lot of experimenting, and I'm going to just kind of show you some of the samples that I have come up with as I have played. And again, I will be showing you some of this. The first thing I want to do though is I'm going to take a piece of paper and I'm going to stamp an image, and I'm going to let that dry, and I'm going to put some glue on it, and while we're talking, that glue will be drying. Okay, so this is something I'm going to be using on the card that I'm going to be making in a little bit. So I will go ahead and I'm going to maybe make a couple of these just for fun. The stamp set I'm using is the one that goes along with this set, and it's called this Art Gallery. It comes with dies too, and it has two-step stamping on it. So this flower here is 2 steps. It has 2 different stamps to make this flower together, and I'm going to be doing that now. And then after I stamp it, I'm going to put some glue on it and allow it to dry a little while I'm showing you some other things. So what I'm going to do is I am going to do 2 of these, and I'm going to do it very similar. I'm going to use one ink color. You can use more than one, but I'm going to just use this Mary Merlot, it's called, and I'm also going to grab a white piece. Okay, so I'm going to do 2 of them, and the first one I'm going to do is I'm doing this one that has more of a surface. Oops, sorry. Has more of a surface to it. It's kind of a lot more surface to stamp. And then this one, I think of it kind of more of as a highlighting type one. So the first one is this one that has a lot of surface to it. And mine, I've used them so much already, they're getting all stained and everything, but it doesn't matter. They still work. I can still see through them. And they are a photopolymer stamp, which is fairly clear. It was clear when I got it. but you'll want to stamp these on a pad if you can. Any kind of foam. So I use a Stampin' Pierce mat that we have, and I just cover it with paper to keep it a little bit cleaner. But this foam absorbs the, it helps get a better quality image, okay? Because when you use a typical or some of our rubber cling stamps, I don't know if you can see that there is foam in here. And that layer of foam helps get a nice image. So since the photopolymer don't have that foam piece in there, we're going to supply the foam underneath to get a better image. All right, so what I'm going to do is, with this one, I'm going to use, since I'm only using the one color ink, I'm going to stamp off the first image. And so what I mean by that is I'm going to ink this up with the color is called Mary Merlot, and get a nice amount on there. I'm going to stamp off because my first image I want to be just very, you know, a little bit lighter. So I stamped some of the ink off so you can see that it's lighter here. And that's exactly what I wanted it to do. And now I need to do that again on this one. I'm just going to do two just to have and play with and show you. Okay, so I'll do that on this one. Okay, and again, this is two-step stamping. This is the step one piece of it. Clean this baby off. All right, so that one's done. Now with this one, we're going to use this one full strength, or, you know, just ink it up, and we're not going to stamp off first. So we want that ink color to be a little bit more prominent and a little bit darker. And I am going to be just kind of looking through here and matching it up. It'll be a little bit hard to show you guys probably, but it's easy for me to see. I'm just going to be kind of finding the center and matching it up. And this is not going to be like 100% perfect match just because it has that artsy type of a look. And it doesn't match up in a way that is exact. It's meant to be, you know, not perfectly matched. It's more of a, I don't know how to explain it, artistic-y look to it. So anyways, I'm going to look through here and kind of get it where I want it. And normally I would take probably a little more time, but I'm just going to wing it here and press evenly without rocking. And there's that. So, isn't that pretty? I mean, that just looks so, I just love that with the color. You wouldn't know that that's only one ink color. And the way that these stamps are made, it just really has a lot of detail, and it kind of does a lot of the work for you as far as like shading and that kind of thing. And so now the one on white, you'll really be able to even see it better. All right, let's kind of try to get it in the right spot. Press it down. Alrighty, how do you like that? See, so this is the same ink, different paper, but stamped the exact same way. Hang on one second here. I'm going to see if anybody's here. Oh, probably not. Oh, okay. Okay, load comments. There we go. Anyway, so that is the image that we're going to be featuring. Artsy fartsy. Yeah, thanks. Thank you, Karna. That's what I needed. I should have looked and seen if anybody was helping me. Artsy fartsy. Yes, that's exactly right. And Craig's on again. Hi, Craig. Hey, Aunt Cindy's there too. All right. Do you need to stamp them on some damp paper towel to clean the stamps? You can clean them that way. Or you can use, if I'm trying to just be fast, I just buy inexpensive baby wipes. But what you really like to do the best is use what we call, it's called a chamois. And it's ugly. Okay, I'm going to tell you it's ugly. It's called a Simply Chamois. How ugly is this? Now, it's kind of damp. And we just go like this. Now this looks dirty, but I rinse it out a lot, and it just stains, and that's just the way of it, but it gets your stamps really nice and clean. Sally? Sally's on. Yay. Hey, guys.
And Josh.
And Josh. Oh, I'm not even seeing all that. Oh, hi, guys. So I'm just busy, Craig. That's why I'm not seeing it all. So sorry, guys. I'm like busy. I'm into it, you know. So thank you for tuning in, everybody. Appreciate that really a lot. So the reason I wanted to do this ahead of time, and I'm kind of going out of order as far as the order of, you know, this video and everything. I wanted to get the some of this Tombow glue on here so it can be drying so I can leaf it in a little bit. Gild it? I don't know what you call it, but I'm going to take a little bit of this and get it started. Okay, and so I am just going to put a little bit of glue here and there just to show a little bit of highlight, or where I would want some gold. Now imagine just a little bit of kind of some little bit of gold accents here and there. I'm kind of going over some of the darker parts. You can kind of do it however you want. There's no right and wrong because it's artsy fartsy, right? Artsy fartsy. Now I do like to kind of keep it light. I don't want to go too crazy with it. But you can see this one here it looks like White Elmer's glue. It's not, but it's very similar to that. Very strong, but it dries sticky. So I'm going to let that dry to the side, and then I am going to do the same thing on this one a little bit. I like to have just little bits. Raina, oh my gosh, Craig. Raina too? That's so awesome. The glows are representing tonight. What are you doing?
Helping you out.
Yeah, you're showing your hands. That's Craig, everybody. Thank you for your help. Oh my gosh, Rouse. Isn't that what the glows say? They say Rouse.
Rouse Machu.
Rouse Machu. All right. So I put some on this one too. I gotta make sure you can see it. And you can see it now, but when it dries clear. So I'm setting that aside so it'll dry clear. Okay, so back to our messy product here that we're talking about. This is fun. So I'm going to show you some samples of what I tried this week. And first of all, I want to show you kind of how it works. It's messy, I'm telling you. It's not something neat and tidy. It gets all over. Whoa! It's real gold. No, I'm just kidding. And it just looks really bad, right? But what you're doing is like this, I have, believe it or not, I have opened this up and put this stuff in this container like 10 times and it still looks this full. It just sort of is so light and fluffy and you just don't use very much. And I have used this stuff over and over and over and it's so light and there's still a ton in here, as you can see. So, that's what I'll be using, and you put it on. I'll demonstrate. You'll see, but that is kind of what you are working with, and you put it in a big thing like this because it expands. If you would take this whole thing, dump it all in there, and like fill it up. So I just do a little bit at a time, and these are my lovely tools to brush off the excess, which I'll show you in a bit. All right, so that's what this gilded leafing is. It makes it kind of look like gold, right? So here are some examples. I started with glue dots. Here's one thing. You know how glue dots are round, obviously. Well, at least mine are. I have the glue dots we have kind of come on a strip like so, and I can show you too, I guess.
Susan wants to know if it gets everywhere.
Susan wants to know if it gets everywhere. Yes, it can. You have to be careful. That is very true, Susan. It can get everywhere if you're not careful. So I'll show you. I'm going to use these 3 dots, and I'm going to put it on, oh, what color? Like, I don't know if I want it on dark or light or whatever to be able to show you. I'm just going to grab a scrap. Okay, we're going to use a scrap of the Mary Merlot, which is the same color that I just stamped with, and I am going to put these 3 glue dots on there. Okay, whoops. I'm just pressing them down on there so they'll stay, and I'm going to put a couple of dimensionals on there. Okay, like so. Because dimensionals, when you take the liner off, of course, they're sticky. And then I am going to find another adhesive tear and tape. So this is super strong adhesive. A lot of us crafters use this. There are different widths, but this is the one we have in Stampin' Up. It's about 1/4 of an inch wide. And another adhesive we use that we'll try out is like it's kind of like a tape runner, or okay. It's called Stampin' Seal. I'm hoping I have some in here still. Okay, so that puts a line of adhesive down. So what this is all going to do is show you how it sticks to just regular adhesive. This isn't going to be including the this powder that I was talking about earlier. I'll use that in a bit. But if you want to try it without the powder, here are some other things you can do. So I am removing the liners from those two dimensionals, and I'm going to take off this liner as well so that the adhesive is exposed. Of course, I need my take your pick tool. Where are you? Okay, and that just will peel this off. Come on. Come on. It is being a bugger. Okay. All right, all of our adhesive is exposed on that. So now I'm going to kind of show you how this works. Again, now if you can imagine if you have a fan going or something, if you have a fan on, this is going to fly around. Or if you like suddenly, like even that's just my hand, right? So, ooh, oh my gosh, I shouldn't have done that. See how light it is? And I hardly even blew. So it is messy. Just got to be careful and just keep that in mind as you're doing this. So I am just going to pat that all over on there, and I'm going to see what it does. And we know we have adhesive all over in different spots, different kinds. I'm just kind of patting that on there. You can also just do it with your hand and just kind of press it in. If you know where the adhesive is, press it down on there like so. And you're probably thinking, this is a mess. What in the world is that going to accomplish, right? I've been doing this all week, sir. I know, it's kind of messy. And even still, it looks bad. But then you just take a sponge, or some people use a little brush. It kind of depends on what you have and what you know, how you use it. But I just find one of these little sponges to work well. You don't want to brush hard. You could probably brush it off if you're too wild with it. But amazingly, whoa, you can kind of get the idea. So if this was on your project, imagine how pretty that would be. And this is very, very bright and shiny. I'm already getting it all over. So can you see that? Wow, right? And there's some extra brushing I would do to get that all cleaned off. And it just looks like gold leafing, and it is so bright and pretty. So anywhere that you have sticky adhesive, it sticks to. So we also sell adhesive sheets. So if you would cut out an adhesive sheet, you would be able to have it stick to that. We have foam sheets that are kind of like dimensionals are foam, only it's a whole sheet. So you could cut out a sentiment or a shape or whatever and peel off the backing, and then have your shape have a lot of gold leafing as well. And I'm going to be showing you examples too. So like the foam I was talking about, that's what I did with this. So it's foam that has adhesive on two sides, and I took it off of one side after I had die cut this little piece out, and then I put the leafing on it just to see how that would look. And it's kind of cool because it has that dimension on your project, and so it sticks up, and it's really cool looking. I also just tried it on adhesive sheets on just some shapes that I had cut out just to see how that would look. And it really is bright and shiny, more so than, oh, let's see. It's shinier than embossing powder, or even, you know, we have like foil sheets and that kind of thing, and it's just more shiny. I don't know how else to explain it. Kind of crinkly looking too, like leafing is. It's not such a smooth look comparing it to foil sheets or that kind of thing. Okay. I also did this earlier on black and white, just so you could kind of see the difference and how it shows up. It shows up really well on both, I thought. I also did this. This is the wet Tombow glue. I just rubbed a little circle of it in one spot, and then I just took it and kind of scribbled it in another just to see how it would look. And I did the same on the black, so that they both turned out really bright and shiny, and it worked really well. And again, here were the other things I had tried. A foam strip, and I thought this would be a pretty, it could make like a frame really pretty if you would gild your foam strips and then put that around something. And this could just be if you had a card that had kind of that geometric feel, that would be kind of cool. Now when I did some stamping with the heat and stick powder, this is how that turned out. And it I didn't have as good of luck with the heat and stick powder and the Versamark as other people maybe have. I don't know what I'm doing. I know when you heat this, you have to just barely heat it and let it melt, and then apply it. And I'm going to be trying that in a minute. But here it is on black, so you can kind of get an idea. And I tried everything. I tried about everything. I tried, and this, you know, not everything looked great. And this is some examples that didn't look great. I put some on dies. You know how we have dies that we die cut things. You can also emboss with dies. And I tried that, putting some of the Versamark on there and just seeing what it would look like if I embossed, not cut out, but if I embossed with those dies with some of that ink. Wasn't happy with that. Not the best. What else did I do? I made some messes, guys, but that's how you learn, right? What did I even do with this? So I did Versamark on one side of an embossing folder. And now for those of you who maybe don't do this very much, an embossing folder is this. It looks like this. It's heavy plastic. You put a piece of cardstock in here and you run it through your machine. And when it comes out, it is embossed with, it's like a more 3D. But you can also try other techniques where you're putting adhesive or you're putting glue or ink and that kind of things on the folders and then running it through. So I tried that on one of them, and you have two sides. So I wanted to see what it would look like on this side, which is the logo side of our embossing folder. And then I tried it on, I kind of consider this the back side. And so I would put ink here, run it through, and I'll show you the differences. It just really wasn't that great. So here's kind of what it looked like. Not good. If you wanted to have kind of some gold in your background, that'd be fine. But this is what I came up with, and I wasn't thrilled with that. Or this was another embossing folder, and I don't know. I just didn't really think that turned out nice. This was another die that I tried. Not the best there. And then here, get ready. Get your sunglasses. This one was the other side of the embossing folder. And this is, or not embossing folder, of a die. So here's the back side. This is what it looked like. And then when I put the stuff on it, yowza. That is like almost blinding. But it's kind of cool. You might have different uses that you'd like it. Tyler, hey Ty. All right, and so that's that. Now, you know, and I just tried everything I could think of. Anything that had to do with adhesive. And I had a little swipe technique. I'll be using this on my card tonight that I ended up liking. Just real subtle. I just took a little glue and swiped it on and let that dry. So we'll show you that in a bit. All right, so those are just some of my experiments, shall we say. Now, you can see that these images that we just did recently are dry. They're not white anymore. I don't know if you can see the shininess of the glue that is on there. But I'm going to be putting that in there now and doing some, yeah, kind of antique-y, I guess. Yeah, kind of wild, right, Karna? So now this, though, all I want is a little bit of highlight on there, and it's going to stick to the glue that we put on there. So I'm just going to kind of stick it in there, and there's no one technique or another that you have to use. You just kind of press, press, press so that it'll stick into the glue. And if I feel anything sticky, you can kind of move it around. You can put some on like that. You can put it upside down and kind of pounce it in that way. This is the fun part, is when you brush it off, because you never know what you're going to get. Is it going to be just a bunch of blobs? Is it going to look nice or not? So that looks kind of cool. And some of it is, you can brush off a little more. Okay, there's one. That's about what I wanted, just a little bit of highlight on there. Now we'll do this one, same thing that we had done before. This time I'm going to kind of put a pile in the middle, and we'll just put it upside down, kind of press it in there. Ooh, makes you think, what is under that pile? I don't know. I've had a lot of fun with this stuff because it's kind of one of those things where you just don't know what you're going to get. And so we'll brush that off. Okay. Sometimes I just have more fun with the actual techniques than then I got to figure out, okay, now what can I do with it? But there are a lot of cool cards you'll see that do have these techniques on them. So there are the two images that we just stamped recently, and got a little bit of gold, well, kind of a lot of gold on there. Now the, thinner, the smaller amount of glue you use, you can control that amount that way. I'm going to cover up this. And what I should do actually now is, while I have this mess out, I should go ahead and stamp something and use this heat and stick and show you how it works. It wasn't my favorite. Some people can really do a good job, and I might have to just be a little more patient. But I don't know. I just didn't have the best luck with it. Let's see what I want to stamp with. I'm just going to try it with, I have no idea if I should do it this way or not. But you take your Versamark, and you just ink up your stamp. Okay, and so there, you can't see it, it's clear and sticky, but it is on there. So now I'm gonna kind of have this all cleaned off there, and I'm gonna stamp this here and get a good amount on there. Hopefully there's plenty of ink. And what I'm going to be doing is pouring this heat and stick powder on there. And then I'm going to be turning on my heat tool and melting it, and then I'm going to put it right away into the into our lovely gilding stuff. So there's that. I don't know if you can see it very well. Okay. Next, I want the heat and stick powder on there before it's not sticky. I want it to stick on there. Okay. This is very much like if anybody has done any embossing, heat embossing with card making and stamping. This is the same procedure, only most of the time we would just use a different type of powder called embossing powder, and then we would, be able to dry or heat that and set it. But this, we want to make it sticky so that our stuff will stick to it. So I'm getting my heat tool, and now normally when we're embossing, this is like one of my favorite things that we can do in card making is embossing, because it's cool. It's like magic. So this is going to be noisy. Okay. They say right away, get it in there. Get it in there right away while it's sticky. Okay. All right, now I'm hoping it's sticking really well. And one thing I've heard too, I just learned this yesterday, that once you get it all brushed off, if you want, it might help to heat set it again, which kind of heats up that adhesive as another of that powder, and then it helps it to kind of set even better. So I think sometimes I just take too much off, so I have to be a little more gentle. I have no idea if this is gonna just look like a blob. It might. Ooh. It's kind of cool. I don't know. There might be times when that looks kind of cool just the way it is, like that. So it gives you an idea of what the purpose is of the heat and stick powder and how you can use that. And I think it's one of those things, the more you play with it, you know, the more you get to know what you like and how to do it so that it turns out good. But I don't know. I think that's kind of cool. That's pretty. Huh. All right. Wow. That's probably one of my better ones. So that's good. That's promising. Again, you would want a certain, you know, time. There's only certain cards that would look nice with that bold of a gold stamped image, but I think that's kind of pretty. All right, so that's how that works, guys. I am going to move this aside and get out my project for the night. I have like gold leafing everywhere. Okay, I'm trying to be neat and tidy, but that one time that I just sort of blew it a little bit, it's all over. See? I have it all over. But that's the way of it. Now, that one stamp set that I used, here are some examples of colors you can get from it. You can do two color, like these are two color. The one I showed you was one color. So, actually, no, these are one color. Mary Merlot, Rococo Rose. Here's Pacific Point. And it just gives you an idea of the different colors you can do with this two-step stamping. This is so pretty, and in person probably even better. I don't know how well it shows, but it is. I've seen so many pretty cards made out of this stamp set. So we are going to use that image. In fact, I'll probably use the one that I might use this one. I think there was a little bit of glue that was still kind of wet there. So for our project, I am going to bring in a good amount of things that I got ready. So this embossing folder is the one that is part of that suite. So it kind of makes it look like there are some like gesso or some swipes of paint and that kind of thing on this one. So it's really nice for a lot of different uses. This is how it looks when it comes out. Okay. And I am going to do some swiping on there with some of my green Tombow glue that I showed you before. So what I'm going to do is I have a mat that is like a non-stick mat, and that's great for using glue because you can clean it up and it doesn't stick to everything and make such a mess. So what I'm going to do is just put a little of that glue down, and I am going to grab a cleaner sponge here, and I'm just going to, okay, I am going to use this side of it. So what I'm going to do is I just want a little bit to kind of pick up some of those high spots. I think I want a little more. I have no idea like where it's hitting and where it's not, because it just kind of is clear and it gets swiped on there, and you just got to be light with it, because I don't want it to be, you know, huge areas of, I just want some real light swipes of that gold leafing to stick here and there. So I am just getting that kind of swiped and hoping it will be good. Move this aside. I'm going to let that dry a little bit before I do any of the gilded stuff on there. And then for the actual project, I have a card base in that same ink color that I had, 5.5 by 8.5, scored at 4 1/4. So for those of you, if you haven't really crafted much, you know how you have 8.5 by 11. If you cut it in half, you can get 2 of these out of a sheet of 8.5 by 11 cardstock. And then I just had a scoring tool. I just scored it down the middle, and that's kind of a standard size of cards. And this would be 5.5 by 8.5, but the finished size is 4 1/4 by 5.5. Okay, and then I have some other goodies. All right. So for our project, here's a bunch of stuff that we're going to use for it. And so some of the pieces I have, so the Mary Merlot, this card base, I also punched out a Scalloped Heart out of that. And so it was 2.5 by 2.5 or so. And punched this out with one of our punches. So I have a set of punches here that these were from last year and they carried over, so they're in our current one as well. So this one is a little bigger, so you put this one behind this one, okay? So they're a set that you can get. And punches are nice because they're handy, they're there, you don't need any other equipment. And so I put some dimensionals on there, and I'm going to be putting a sentiment on here as well. So that is what you need with that. And then I have some of the acetate that comes in the set, or that I showed you earlier. That was the silver on one side, gold on the other. I just have a 1/2 inch strip. This one's longer than I need. I'm just going to trim it off, and this is going to be on the front. And then the DSP, as we call it, remember, Designer Series paper. I'm going to be using this side with some of that matching. Here's that Mary Merlot color. I did put some adhesive on the back, and one of the sides I'm going to be adhering this onto. In fact, I could probably do that. I want this to go this direction, so I want to put just a little hint of this acetate coming out of the side. So I am going to pull off the adhesive here, and then I'm going to adhere this down, but I think I'm going to go on this side so I can see and make sure that I can see what I'm doing. Let's see which way I want it. All right, I just want a little bit, about around 1/4 and 1/8 of an inch or so, and then I will trim it off here. And remember that that liner is still on it, so that I'll be pulling off. Okay, and some people, if you have trouble getting that off, I have heard you could use like a piece of tape. There are a lot of things that you can do to get that off. I haven't really had much trouble, so I got that off there. And then I'm going to put another piece of adhesive down so that I can stick it onto the project. I'm going to just put this. This is called tear and tape, because obviously you could just tear it off. It's super strong. That's why, you know, a lot of times you just want to use adhesive that's just quick. Like this seal. This is quick. You just put it down. But sometimes there are times when you want to maybe put it on ahead of time, like I did here, and you also just want it to make sure that it doesn't move, no matter what kind of paper or cardstock or product you're using. Okay. Now before I put this down, though, I'm going to be adhering it onto that piece that has this rose colored piece that I put that adhesive on, and I'm going to see how it looks. If I put a little of this gilding onto the swipes that I was telling you I was putting on there. So we'll kind of see how it turns out. I'm going to move this guy out of here, one we did earlier, and I'm just going to put this upside down. And I just kind of wanted little bits on here, so I'm hoping you kind of don't really know if you haven't used this a lot. You don't know what you're going to get. Did I overdo it? Is it right how I want it? That kind of thing, but we just kind of see, and it's kind of fun to kind of test out and see what happens. If you don't like it, you just try again, right? Okay, as you can see, there's not a ton sticking, which is good, because I didn't want it to be overly shiny. This will be plenty. Okay, it's kind of all over the place. It's sort of streaky, but that's okay because I want it. This can kind of get away with that artsy fartsy look, right, Karna? That can kind of handle something that's not perfect. All right, so I'm gonna have that as my background piece. We'll see how that looks, huh? Okay. So back to assembly. Don't usually have like crumbs and stuff flying all over, so sorry about that. I'm gold leafing myself. All right, this is going to go on the front. Okay, this is 4 by 5 1/4. This is that rose colored one I was telling you about. I wonder why I only put adhesive on one part of it. Oh, I know why. Okay. I was going to put gold leafing on that. But then that means I did it on the wrong side. So it's going to be just general. I'm going to use it as what it's intended for, and that's just to stick it down onto my card base. All right. So get my tool back out here, and we'll adhere this then onto the card base, if I can get that off. There's usually something that doesn't cooperate, so we'll see what that's going to be tonight. Again, this is super strong, which is helpful because you need it to stay, and it'll do that job very well. This is also an adhesive that you can put that gilding onto because it sticks really well. Okay, so now I got to decide which way I want it. Doesn't really matter. This is just going to show a hint of our color of our base sticking out a little bit. Now it's kind of a sticky feeling there, so I'm just going to rub it down on this back side here, like so. Whoa, everything goes flying. Oh goodness. And then I'm going to adhere this piece that we did earlier. We're going to decide where we want that. I'm just going to put it, just a little hint of the rose color showing. Okay, it's got a whole lot going on, doesn't it? Yowza. Then I'm going to try to find our other pieces. One of them is this heart here. And then the other one is I'm going to be stamping in a sentiment, wishing I could heal your heart. And this is from Heal Your Heart stamp set that is part of the celebration. This is one of those you can get free with an order that I was telling you about before. Wishing I could heal your heart. Thank you. I don't know what I would do without you. Sorry for your loss. I can't promise to always fix your problems, but I can promise you won't ever face them alone. And then we're in this together. Just kind of something for people that you're close to. Nice stamp set. And I like the script that the font is on there. So I'm going to find some white that I'll be stamping that onto. and then I will be punching it out. Okay, that goes on the inside. Okay, so I think this was the one I had gotten to stamp on. And it doesn't really have to be perfect because I'm going to be punching that out. Perfect meaning I don't have to have it a placement in a specific spot. Okay. All right, so we'll have that match that flower. Like so. And I pressed too hard and it got a little halo piece there, so I'm going to redo it. That's why we have two sides, right? So I'm going to go a little easier. There, better. I didn't get the little edge there. Easy to do. Okay, and I will, you know, this is what I need. See, what I normally do is just go zoop, zoop like that, and it just cleans it right off. And then when I'm done for the day, I just rinse that out. And like I said, it's not pretty, but it works. Then I'm going to get my punch. And I always punch on the back so I can see what I'm doing. Okay. Like so. And then I'm going to adhere this on there. And pretty much any glue will do a good job on this. This Tombow glue is what they call this. We call it green glue a lot of times. It is fine as long as you don't get it to ooze out. If it oozes out, then it can kind of make a little shiny spot, which you try to avoid. So I just have to make sure I don't do that. I don't press down too hard so that it oozes out, or I don't use too much. Okay. All right, so that I'm just gently pressing it so it'll stay in place. And then the nice thing about this glue is you can wiggle things around before it really grabs it too hard. So it gives you that little bit of placement time. And so that's that. All right, so we're going to put that on like so. And that's just going to go on with these dimensionals, so that's easy. Okay. Alright, so then I just feel like I usually like to put on some type of ribbon or something like that. This suite does come with ribbon that looks like this, and it's kind of that glittery gold, and I don't know where to put it. I'll maybe make it, what I think I'll do, I don't want it to get too, this is already a lot going on the front of this card, so I don't want too much else on there. I'm just going to do a little knot. Okay, just make a little knot like so. And getting my ribbon scissors, because otherwise, if you don't have scissors that are just for like fabric or ribbon, then you will regret it because they won't stay nice and sharp. And I'll go like that. Oops. All right. So my knot is going to go somewhere on there. I don't know where yet. In fact, I think I want it a little bit shorter. Okay. Yikes, it's jumping around. I can trim it more once I get it on here too if I find I'd rather have it on another spot. Maybe that, maybe here, maybe there. What do you think? I don't know, maybe, I kind of like it on the bottom there. So I'm going to put a glue dot on here, and glue dots are nice for lots of things, including ribbon, because you take your ribbon right to your glue dot and pull that off. And I'm going to just put it right there and make sure it's on good and tight. And now this ribbon kind of frays easily, so I want to have a nice clean cut on that with my scissors that are strong. I think, I don't know which direction, if I want it the same or opposite. I'm not happy with that. nice angle to match. Okay. All right, so this one's shorter. Back and forth. Okay. Is that better? Wishing I could heal your heart. Aw. And then on the inside, I am going to find some white. And put that on there. This is 3.5 by 4 3/4. And I'm going to put that on like so. I'll use seal this time. You can, it's not any one type of product, you know, that you don't have to use seal right here. You can use what you have, but that is very close and at hand for me at the moment, so I used that. You can use whatever you have, and we will get that nice and centered. And then what do we want for the inside sentiment? If this says wishing I could heal your heart, then we can look on the stamp set that came with it, and it's so what would I want with it? So sorry for your loss would go, and so maybe I'll use that one. All right, so here is that sentiment, and I'm getting my block, my nice long sentiment block here, and we will stamp that on the inside, but leave room for, we'll leave a little room for writing in there, so you can write a note. I just don't want to get one of those edges again. I'm going to make sure it's inked up well, and hope that I did a good job with that. Okay. All right, so sorry for your loss. And I got a little halo, but I'll be able to cover that up, or maybe use, I'm going to use like a white gel pen and get that out of there. And then I'm going to take a little piece of the DSP that matches what we've used. Oh, here we go. Just kind of want to carry over this pattern into the inside, just to kind of get that to match. And I am going to find my little cute little cutter that I keep on my desktop, and this guy work is just super handy. So to this size, I'm going to go ahead and measure. Let's see that I need the width of about 3.5, so I'm going to cut this width to 3.5. Okay, like that. And then how I can make it whatever width I want. I'll just go 3/4 of an inch maybe, just so it's square and has a little bit of that color in there that kind of matches. And I'm going to get that adhesive out again. Give it a little swipe. All right, there we go. Then it's almost done. The card itself is done. However, I do like to decorate the envelope as well. And so for this one, I have some of the matching paper that's 2.5 by 6.5. And I am just going to put the adhesive right on the envelope. There and there. And little bits here and there. And this will just go on, and I'll just trim it off after I have it stuck down on here. So, gotta get it in place. And then I just trim from the back using, well, let's use these scissors. Okay, I might be missing so much. Always stamp first, then punch out. Always stamp first, then punch out. Well, like in that instance, yes, it's a lot easier to stamp first and then punch out, because you can look in the back and then you can line it up perfectly. But sometimes you may have things that are already punched out, and then you might find it easier to stamp on the item that's already, like if it's smaller, especially like what I'm thinking of, for example, is I have some banners, or I have some of these already cut out. These were cut out. Actually, they weren't a punch. They were with a die, which is a silver thing that you can get with your sets. And so what did I do first? I think I cut out a bunch of these first, and then I stamped onto them. So, but probably stamp then cut out is typically probably the best way to do it most of the time. There are going to be times where that maybe won't be the case, but yes. Well, floral. Oh, isn't it pretty? I hope you like it, Raina. Yeah, so then this way you have a set, and they match, and I think it's kind of fitting. Boy, I can think of a few instances where I have to send out this card to people, right? So I hope you like that, guys. It's kind of, I think I covered everything that I wanted to cover with this wild, crazy gilding stuff. Thank you for joining me. I hope you learned a lot and that it was something that's interesting. If you want any of the products, let me know or visit my store. But there, I'm back. Yowza. Thank you, guys. How you doing? If you have any questions, let me know. I hope you enjoyed it. If you make anything with this ever in the future, let me know. I want to see it. I want to put it up on my website or whatever. So take care until next Thursday. Keep in touch, and we'll talk soon. Thanks, guys. Bye.